Hello, and thanks for taking time out of your day to be with me. My name is Steve Ferletti. Do you like beer? I like beer. I brew my own beer. I go to breweries. I go to learn about how to brew beer, the arts of brewing beer. But enough about that for right now. We're going to talk about Victoria, Canada, and the local brew scene up there. Among other things, we'll talk about the local climate, we'll talk about the population, and we'll talk about the things that you can do while you're there in Victoria, Canada, or Victoria, British Columbia. It's situated on the westernmost coast of Canada, just northeast or northwest of Seattle. The local climate there is pretty temperate. It's 44 degrees on the low side and 75 degrees on the high side. Average rain per year is 28 inches in comparison to, let's say, New York, where I grew up. I grew up in upstate New York. As you can see, I have a picture of Grand Central Station behind me. We had a saying in upstate New York, and if you have you're from upstate New York if you have a pocket full of Canadian change. Here in Arizona, we can't say that because I don't have Canadian change to put in my pocket. But as for the local area in Vancouver or Victoria, they have 2,183 hours of sunshine a year, which equates to about 91 days a year. Here in Arizona, we have 330 days a year of sunshine. Their population is 83,000. In the main city of Victoria, which is located on Vancouver Island, which has a total population of 360,000. Victoria, the city of Victoria being the largest city, has a lot to offer. You can go see and visit some of their museums locally to learn about the culture, learn about the history of Vancouver, or Victoria. Speaking of the history, it was founded in 1843 as a trading post on the west coast of Canada, and it was first known as Fort Albert in 1843. In that same year, 1843, they switched over and voted for it to be called Fort Victoria, named after the great British Queen of the time. There was a gold rush in 1858, and that helped Victoria and Vancouver Island grow quickly and made it become one of the main trading posts and main cities of Victoria and Canada on the west coast during the gold rush. In 1862, it became incorporated as the largest city, and the Transcontinental Railway was built during that time, which also helped it spread across Canada and help Victoria become the largest trading post during that time. Local attractions, you could go see whale watching if you were up there. There's a lot of tours for that. Zipline tours. You can do zipline tours which start at 150 feet and go all the way up to 1,000 feet high and up to 37 miles an hour. If you like golf, they have what they call the Vancouver Golf Trail on Vancouver Island, which starts down by Victoria. It's 155 miles of golfing on 11 courses. So after doing all that and going those 155 miles and doing all that golfing, you're going to want to do some nightlife. Nightlife there would include many restaurants, many clubs, many high-end and local bars and pubs, at places like the Canoe Brew Pub. And speaking of beer, I'm not sure if we mentioned that just yet, but I myself brew. That would be a reason for me to visit there to check out the brew scene. They have 4 local breweries, 3 brew pubs, and their style of beer is English style of beer, lighter side, as compared to the southwest of the United States. We're more into the bitter IPA types of beers. But I would go there to learn about their brew styles. I would go there and visit all the breweries so that I can pick up as much information as I possibly can. And they have what they call a Victoria Ale Trail, where you can go and basically do a brew tour, either on your own, which I don't recommend because that would mean you'd have to drive and you don't really want to drink and drive, or you can have a cab, or you can hire a tour company that can take you and do these things. And best of all, they have the Great Canadian Beer Festival every year, where all the Canadian breweries and the brewers and craft brewers come from across Canada and show up in Victoria. And they have this big, huge festival with music and food and beer, of course. Again, this would be one of the things I would do yourself. You would look up the information for the local area and see what would pique your interest, and you could go and do those things. So now that I've taken you on a little journey of Victoria, Canada, and gave you just a small snippet of what the city is all about, you learned about the local weather, you learned about the local attractions and the history, and many things that you can do while you're in Victoria, including my favorite scene would be the brew scene. Victoria, being our neighbors to the north, maybe one day I'll go up there and visit. My his family is from there, so that would be a reason for me to go up there. Having info of the local area before I go up there will allow me to enjoy my time and my visit there, and it will give me things to do and to see. One thing that I noticed is that everybody wants to take a big vacation, and everybody talks about Spain or Italy or the Caribbean. Why not Canada? Why not go to Canada and enjoy it? There are neighbors to the north. They like us, unlike some parts of the world don't like us. They let us in. They let us spend our money there. And it's cheap to go up there, and it's close, and it's safe. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me, and thanks again for taking some time out to spend with me. And I hope you learned a little about Victoria, Canada.